All right, so for this we're going to show how to load an image, how to get it to display, and also what I'm doing with this is I'm dynamically changing the tint and the transparency of the image. So I just have the lines following where my mouse positions are, and so here's where I'm bringing in more transparency, so I'm bringing the background image up, and then I can kind of erase it back. But I'm changing essentially the colors of the different channels depending on the quadrant of the image that I'm in. So the top left affects the red channel, the top right affects the green, and the blue is the bottom left, and the transparency is this bottom right. So let's see how we do this. We'll take a look at the code. All right, so taking a look at this, one of the first things we need to do is, of course, declare this PImage variable, and I'm just giving it some names. So the bridge is the one, the background is the car image, and I just have some other variables declared in here as global. This is how I'm going to control the transparency and the different color channels by moving the mouse. So here in the setup, window size, and here is where I'm also going to load the images into memory. I'm doing this within the braces of the setup function, so I just need to do it once. Once it's in memory, we're good to go, and then we can start using it. So we use the load image function, and I just give it the name of the file. So again, these are in the data folder for this sketch, and so they're accessible for the program. So I have the two loaded up here, and we're good to go in the setup. Now here in the draw, this is just going to show you how crazy and long if statements can get. So it's essentially checking for two things. So like this first one is going to be the top left, and it's looking for, is the mouse less than or equal to 0? So is it on the left edge? It needs to be on the left edge. It needs to be less than half the width of the window, and the mouse Y has to be greater than 0, which would be the top of the image, and less than half the height. So it's making that top left square. Once it's within that, I'm mapping the horizontal position of the mouse X. So the 0 and the width, they're going to be the values, and a half are the values that are going to be coming in. And I'm just mapping that to the 0 to 255 and setting that for the rchan variable, which is what we're going to use down here at the bottom when we tint the image. So I have an else if, I have another else if, so this is checking for the top right. Again, there's a lot of logical operators in here. I have 3 ands, so I'm looking for 4 different conditions to be met in order for this to happen. So it looks convoluted, but it's actually pretty simple. So we just have all of those. It checks for those. Transparency is the bottom right. All of those values get sent down into this tint. So they kind of build up and go away. It's a little less predictable, I suppose, if they're right within the else statement. Once you move out of it, they kind of stop. So I put the tint statement down here outside of all of the else ifs. I'm just setting the variables within the else ifs, and so here's the tint. And then I'm displaying the car and the image of the bridge. So both of these are affected by the tint function, but the transparency is in the bottom right is going to affect the top image, the bridge image, since that's the last one drawn the most, and that's what's going to allow this background image to show through. I could just load this as a background image too. That would be the other way to do it. So here's just the stroke weight. Again, we're just building some lines that are just going to follow the mouse position, just to show me where I am in the frame, and to be able to see the effects. So easy way to load images, easy way to start affecting how they appear in sort of a dynamic and interactive way.